I wanted to talk today about knowing your numbers. So if you remember, like probably a month ago, it's been so long, we talked about knowing your numbers as far as how many people you need to talk to about Jamberry, how many people you need to ask a question, to invite to some third-party tool, and then to get them to join, right? So I was doing some digging, and I'm very logical in I wanted to really figure out more numbers that could really help you guys, and really, like for me to know also what my numbers were. So I got to looking on the dash, and I saw some things that I thought were really interesting. So if you go under, if you go to volume and earnings, and then you go on to rank gap, this is going to be a snapshot of your lifetime with Jamberry. So if you've been with Jamberry more than a year, it's going to show you a little box underneath your address, and it'll say like lifetime PRV, lifetime recruits. The lifetime parties I don't think is right. Mine says like 8,000 and something, and I know I have not had 8,000 parties. I mean, that'd be so crazy. So that's not right. But it'll also show you your PRV every single month for a rolling year. So it'll show you from June of last year through May of this year, or like May up to May 8th, obviously, because we're not done with May yet. So here's how I kind of used all those numbers. So I was thinking about recruiting. I'm like, oh, like I have personally recruited 53 people since I started with Jamberry. 53. So then I was like, my PRV, I've also sold 53,000. So I was like, okay, it's a little bit over 53. But I wanted to do some division and figure out my number. So I divided my PRV, my lifetime PRV, by my lifetime recruits. And that gave me an average of $1,038. So I need to sell, on average, 1,038 PRV to get one recruit. So then I started thinking, and I'm like, okay, some of that PRV comes from VIPs or return customers. So for me, it's probably more like $700, maybe to $800 PRV, because I get a couple $100 monthly from my VIPs. So that's $700 to $800 new PRV dollars that I need to get one recruit. So if I'm shooting for 2 recruits a month, that's a lot of PRV, right? That's a lot of parties. So then I looked at parties, and I looked at just the snapshot from this year. If you look on the chart, it'll show you your PRV, it'll show you your recruits, it'll show you your title, it'll show you the number of parties you have, and I believe it's closed parties of a certain amount. I'm not sure if it counts zero parties, but I just added up the number of parties there, and I had 49 from June of last year, so, and then 19 recruits this last year. So that means I need to have 2.5 parties for one recruit also. So it gives me some more knowledge and some more numbers to look at, so that if my ultimate goal is to build my team, I know that I need to have at least 2.5 parties to get one recruit, and I need to have at least $1,000 PRV to get one recruit. So I went on the independent leaders because I wanted to know if my numbers were similar, like my average. And what I found was it's pretty, my number is pretty average compared to other leaders in the company. Some only needed 700 PRV because maybe they're recruiting rock stars, like maybe they're just recruiting more. And then some had almost $2,000 that they needed per one to get one recruit. But overall, as a leader community, the average was about 1,100 PRV for one recruit, and it was different in Australia, and it was a little different in the UK. So really this was looking at North American leaders. But so here's what I want you guys to think about. There's really 2 big things. is if you're selling, let's say about $900 a month, but you're not getting one recruit every single month. It could be because maybe your recruiting pipeline is a little longer, or your closing cycle is a little longer, where maybe you add in more steps, or maybe you forget to follow up, and so it takes a little longer to convert that person who's interested into a recruit. Maybe you just aren't asking enough people. So what the kind of common consensus was in the leader group was, if they had, let's say, 1,000 PRV, or maybe they had 2,000 PRV, well, maybe they just weren't asking enough. They have the PRV and they're getting in front of the people, but they're not asking enough. So maybe they're planting seeds, but they're not taking it one step further in their funnel. Remember, we talked about the funnel. So you have planting your seeds, then you have actually asking, and then third-party tool, and then, join. So maybe they're not doing that second step of asking. That's exactly right, Erin. So there is another step in your funnel too, where they go to this third-party tool. Well, you still have to follow up with them, and you still have to say what's stopping you from joining, or try to overcome those obstacles. So there's different parts of that pipeline or that funnel that can be missed, and that's going to play a role in your averages. Like, that's going to make maybe your sales a little higher to recruiting, or that might make your number of parties, like you might have to have 4 parties for every one recruit based on your average. But the best thing ever is you can change your average. You can change your numbers. So where you may not be able to change your number as far as how many people you ask that certain question, invite to the third-party tool, follow up with, and then join, that number might stay pretty consistent, maybe around 30. But you can change your average PRV to recruit just by asking more. So if you're watching and you're like, I don't have any recruits, guess what? You have so much room to change your business. And it might just be as simple as asking. Or it might be as simple as incorporating more posts about your journey or Jamberry in general into your parties. And then it might just be simply asking those people that win prizes or that you send samples to if they've ever thought of earning extra income. So what's great about all of these numbers and all of these averages is you can change them. And obviously it's not going to change like tomorrow, unless I recruit like 10 people or whatever, which tomorrow is not going to happen, but it could change over time. So it's super important to know your numbers, not to obsess over them, but to take a look. Go into your dashboard, look at, okay, what was she saying? Amanda said to divide my PRV by the total number of recruits to see how much PRV I have been getting per one recruit. Because that PRV, if you're getting 1,000 PRV a month or 1,100 PRV a month, you should be getting on average one recruit from every 1,100 PRV. And it may not come, let's say you sell 1,100 this month. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a recruit from that 1,100 this month, because remember, what we do today affects next month, the month after, and the month after. So that 1,100 today, you might meet someone this month, but they might not join till July. And that's okay. That just means your recruiting cycle is a little bit longer. But I think this is a great number to be aware of as far as the PRV to recruit, and then also the party to recruit. So I know, okay, if my goal is to recruit more people, I need to have more parties. Because if I need to have 2.5 parties for every one recruit, then I need to have more parties than 4 every single month. If I want 2 recruits every single month. So does this make sense? Does this help you guys? I want to give you more things to be able to shoot for in your business, or at least give you more numbers that you can set goals to. So I feel like it depends on how your brain works, but maybe your brain doesn't work like a funnel. Maybe you don't understand pipelines. Maybe that piece of it is super confusing to you, and that's okay. But especially if you're new, you can start looking at your averages now. So if you say, okay, the last 3 months I've sold $2,000 total in the last 3 months, and I have 1 recruit. Great, there's your number, right? So now you need to shoot for that 2,000 PRV to be able to get your next recruit. And then you can slowly start bringing that PRV number down the more you ask and the more people that you're getting in front of. So it's just a numbers game. So it's, they say all the time, it's not magical, it's mathematical. And it really is. And there's a lot of different mathematical ways to look at your business. And it really just depends on how your brain works. If you're like, girl, I do not like math, I do not like numbers at all, great. But you need to set some sort of goal. So whether your goal is, I'm going to ask 35 people this month if they look for ways of earning extra income, and I'm going to get 10 of those 35 to an opportunity event, great, that's a goal. If your goal is, I'm going to sell 1,000 PRV this month so I can find 1 interested person, great, that's a goal. If you're going to have 6 parties this month, so hopefully you can find 2 people that are really interested in the opportunity, great, that's a goal. Whatever numbers make sense to you and also drive you to the outcome, which is, building your team, great. Pick any one of those that are going to work best for you. So if you guys have any questions about this, let me know. I know sometimes people are like, numbers, no. But I'm totally like an analytics type of person, and it makes sense to me. So I like to know that. And I like to say, okay, that person only needs 800 PRV every month to get a recruit. That's going to be me. I need to ask more to the people that I'm selling to, because maybe that's what I'm not doing, right? So there's always ways to bring those numbers and those averages down. So if you have any questions, let me know, and I will be back later.